I have been very much looking forward to this conversation for a while. Let me describe a moment that you've probably lived as a leader. You cast vision, you're excited, the team is all nodding, everyone says the right thing as the meeting ends, but underneath the surface, something feels just off. Your team hesitates, they wait, they don't move with the same confidence that you expected. And eventually you start thinking, why does everything feel so fragile right now? Why do they feel so fragile right now? And you know what we do? We blame it on them. I mean, they are the ones acting fragile, right? But here's the question most leaders never ask. What if the anxiety that you're frustrated by is being unintentionally reinforced by you and by your leadership? Here's what I mean. We are all leading in an anxious world. Okay, the world is full of anxiety, more so maybe now than ever before, right? You've probably read the stats. I've looked at all the research. It's pretty incredible how much anxiety just exists in the world. And so therefore, people come to church staff meetings or volunteer meetings, wherever it is, already carrying stress from their own personal finances, their family pressures, the cultural tensions around them, the political climate, the constant comparisons. And so leadership, right? Like leadership isn't creating any of that anxiety, but you know what leadership can do? It can absolutely amplify it. Because unclear direction, it forces people to guess. Fast reversals without any good explanation erodes a lot of confidence. As a leader, emotional inconsistency, it teaches people to manage moods instead of managing to the mission. And slowly, without anyone intending it, fragility forms. Not because people are weak or they're already too fragile, but because clarity is missing from you as the leader. Here's the reframing that really changed how I see leadership. It's like a paradigm shift. And I learned this a long time ago in a different context, but it's amazing how it affected the anxiety conversation. Here's what I learned is that calm, steady leadership is not about a personality trait. Okay, this is not an Enneagram or a Myers-Briggs conversation. It's really just about intention. Intentional leadership absorbs anxiety instead of spreading it. It doesn't mean that you never change direction, of course. It just means that you clearly explain why and how. It doesn't mean that you avoid hard conversations. It just means that you handle them with steadiness and with promptness. Like intentional leaders understand something crucial, that anxiety fills the gaps where clarity should live. Listen, I have watched this play out countless times. Two leaders face the exact same challenge. One reacts quickly, changes direction often, and communicates vaguely, while the other one slows down, explains decisions, and stays consistent in their tone and in their values. Listen, same pressure, right? Two very different outcomes. One team becomes cautious and hesitant, the other team resilient and highly confident. One leader blames their team for being quote unquote too fragile, while the other leader celebrates the team's progress and resiliency. And the difference, by the way, again, isn't vision. It's just about leadership clarity. So here's one thing that you can do this week. And man, I cannot encourage you enough to do this. I'm going to give you 3 questions. I'd love for you to just write these down or, come back and, listen to this again if you need to. I would love for you to sit down and just process introspectively, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, where might my team be guessing instead of knowing? Is there anything that they are having to guess about because I, as the leader, have not been clear? Maybe a direction has changed. Who knows what has happened, right? But where might my team be guessing instead of knowing? Guessing creates anxiety. knowing comes from clarity. Number 2, what decision have I made recently without enough explanation? Have you changed anything, done anything, made a decision about something, and not given enough clarity, not given enough explanation? Now, there may be something in you that says, well, they should just trust me. And yes, that is all true. But the number one way you gain trust is through clarity, right? So don't mistake a lack of trust for a need for an explanation. The people who are working with you and for you, they want to follow you, but they kind of need to understand where you're going. And explanations can do that. And here's the third question. What emotional pattern am I teaching people to expect from me? We talked about one of those anchors is emotional steadiness. The best leaders are calm and steady. They absorb that emotional energy and anxiety. They don't create it or add to it. So what kind of emotional patterns are people seeing for you? Are you really high and then really low? Are you really frantic and then very almost too calm? Like, what are they seeing from you? Or hopefully, are you steady? One intentional clarification can reduce more anxiety than 100 attaboys or encouragements. Just remember, right? Clarity. Now, talk about it not too much because it's so critical. Clarity is pastoral, right? Clarity is kindness, and so is consistency. And calm leadership is strategic leadership. Well, let's kind of wrap up this conversation just with this. The world does not need more leaders who complain about fragile teams. Okay, the world needs, and teams and organizations and churches need leaders who build environments where people can grow stronger. If things feel heavier than they should right now, don't assume your people are the problem. The first thing we do is get a mirror and we look at our leadership. We look at our systems, our communication rhythms. We look at our consistency. Because intentional leadership doesn't remove pressure from the mission, right? It removes unnecessary pressure from the people. And that's how teams really can rise to the weight of this calling.